So thank you, first of all, for having us and for the introduction. And I hope the technical issues will be solved, but we will see that in a minute when I click the clicker. But let's see that. So thank you. I think, Yves, you mentioned a few things, of course, and I've been asked to discuss a little bit on how Google is looking at data centers overall. But before I take a deep dive, of course, we need to understand that the data center as such is not a sole living thing, right? So today, the reality of the business is that you have on-premises environments, hybrid environments, private clouds, and you want to use the technology which suits your business needs, right? So it's much broader than just a data center from Google Cloud. But I'm more than happy to actually show you a bit what we are here for. I also invited my colleague, Jerome. Jerome is a customer engineer, so if you have technical questions, he's the guy to go to. And of course, also in the light of having the conversation about sustainability aspect, that's definitely something that Jerome can do. Let's see. The clicker, as I expected, is maybe not working. No. If you can go to the next slide, maybe.
Well, welcome to a technology presentation, and our clicker isn't working. I know it's ironic, isn't it?
No worries.
There we go. Take two. So we got you.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. So, opposed to invite you all to the data center, we want to bring the data center today a little bit closer to you because you might understand that our data centers are, of course, we talked about the tiering or top-notch. They're even better protected than Fort Knox, I would say, because we do manage all type of workloads over there. We have everything in place over there. So it is super important that this is super secured. But we want to give you a little bit of highlight and view on what's happening inside a Google data center. Now, before we take a deep dive on what that is, and please all go to the left with your head and then to the right. So that's good. But I think it's super important to really understand if you're looking to run workloads in a data center, what are you actually looking for? And I highlighted a few elements over there because you're looking for performance and innovation. I think two very important topics that typically people reach out to a cloud environment, to a Google Cloud environment, to augment performance, and of course also to stimulate and trigger innovation much faster than you can actually do on-prem or in a hybrid environment. Today, and we heard the story of Yves, I think availability and reliability is a key element. Businesses run 24/7, you need to be always on, and I think that's a clear challenge in the complex world that we're living in. Security and resiliency, we heard it said, security, it was in the satellite environment, it was in the private cloud, it was in the defense cloud, and I hear a lot of, and that's the next topic, sovereignty, but let's make sure sovereignty does not always equal security, right? A secure cloud environment is definitely something differently than purely a sovereign environment. It's all about trust, compliancy, controls, but this needs to be built up from the ground up. And then, of course, if we're going to build at scale, then we also have to rethink on how we will look at sustainability going forward. Now, we mentioned scale. I saw the flops in the previous slide and how massive this is. But if I just give you a little bit of intel that Google is running at least 9 solutions with more than 1 billion users every month. If I give you just a small side note on the fact that I think, who knows YouTube in the room? Yeah, all right. That's pretty okay-ish. So every single minute, we upload 500 hours of content on that platform. So just to tell you at scale, and these operations, and maybe second follow-up question is, if your network is down, what's the first thing you do? Most probably you check and you go to Google to see whether you still have connectivity, because that comes back to the availability of the system. So this is just already a given, although it's not, because we need to structure our data centers in the sense that it's always up and running to meet your demands and to provide the technology that you're looking for. Now, this is for our, let's say, most used solutions, but of course, there's such a thing, and maybe you haven't heard it today, it's called AI. right? And we've seen, of course, a huge takeoff. And Google is already, so of course, we went into full-blown AI already in 2012. Then it went, let's say, more commercialized 2017. But in 2016, our CEO already stated that Google is actually an AI-first company. Now, with all the innovations and the thing that we brought together also with Google DeepMind, that actually meant that, of course, the need for GPUs, TPUs, compute power is massively growing. And that's also one of the reasons why Google is investing massively in our own TPUs. And I will come to that in a second. But if we look in that element from numbers, and it's pretty mind-blowing, but we need to train our TPUs to provide much more value. With AI comes, of course, capacity needs, comes also a price increase, and we need to provide you the value for dollar in the best and cost-efficient way. If we look at, and that's on the left bottom, today in only 18 months' time, the demand for compute increased 8 times, and that's on a global scale. So just imagine how much compute power we need to provide for all our customers in our data centers, right? So these numbers are massive, and we don't expect that they will drop. The contrary, they will only grow quite significantly over the full years. What we have seen is that people want to use that type of technology to start building custom solutions, and that may be in the AI area, right? So on that note also, it's not just by providing compute and making sure that we can store all that data, but it's also providing you a platform that will allow you to build business applications and actually be disruptive in your market going forward. And for that, we are the only company that actually built a unified stack with the underlying platform, which is the full capacity of compute power. On top of that, we built the models, and of course, Google would not be Google if we would not open up those models, not only for Google models, but also three-party or third-party models. And all this we bring into the Vertex environment, so you can actually start building solutions on that one. And of course, you heard the concepts of agents, which we are building today on top of that. On that note, we need to be close to our users. So this is just a view of the 42 regions that we have today active, and you see quite a bit centralized in Europe, because we truly understand in terms of being close to your users that we need to build that capabilities and capacity close to where it's used. And that's the reason why we actually invested quite heavily and keep on investing in building data centers close to the users, as you can see here. But they also need to be connected. And I think that's also quite mind-blowing, because you don't just get a region, you get actually the full picture of this. So in terms of resiliency, another topic I highlighted, I think this picture tells all, right? And if you see at the scale again, where we are, then I think this is also pretty mind-blowing, because we have 2 million of miles of subsea cables connecting the full world and actually providing that network of capacities to you. Now, this could not be if we don't have sustainability in mind. And if I can ask Jerome to give a few topics on how we organize our data centers in the sense of sustainability, then I give the word happily to you, Jerome.
Thank you, Kurt. So hello, everyone. As Kurt mentioned, Jérôme Paquet, I'm based in Brussels, and to talk, green button. Okay, green button. Talking about sustainability at Google, and the way we look at it is really looking at how we take it from the ground up, so at every component of the stack, but also about the pledge we actually did in converging digitalization and sustainability. This really needs to happen, so not only to push technology and push further digitalization forward, but also how do we actually leverage the technology and leverage our consumption model for energy in order to make an impact on the world. And let's look at the number first. So not only did we do a pledge to be fully zero carbon in terms of emission by 2030, but we have actually already achieved 100% carbon neutrality since 2007. on all the services from Google and from Google Cloud. Now, that brings us to a special place, which is being the largest renewable energy purchaser in the world due to the sheer nature and sheer size of our infrastructure. But I think what is really interesting is to actually, as I said, leveraging technology to support these efforts. And in typical Google fashion, already about 10 years ago, some engineers in our data centers starting to work on a 20-person project. And that 20-person project was actually about training a machine learning model from our data centers environmentals, all the sensors, both externals, internals, and to use these models to start actuating on our environmental controls. So doing fine-tuning by the second on the temperature in the room, the speed at which our cooling tower are actually working and the vents are turning there. And all these very small, very tiny optimization would not have been achieved by humans. We just missed the granularity. We're too limited, actually, in the functioning of our body and brain. But by doing this and by letting technology literally take the control seat on those settings, we've achieved a net 40% energy reduction in our environmentals. And I think that even is more important than buying, carbon neutral. Carbon neutral is the right thing to do. That's how we should go about. But it's actually about lowering our overall consumption. Other aspect, of course, is, 100% renewable, as I said, but also our pledge for the year 2030 to actually be at zero carbon emission. And I think that's the last slide. So, any questions about data centers, Google ones, or?
I don't know. Do you wish you'd started AI 2 years earlier?
We should have started AI 2 years earlier.
Yeah, could you? Should you?
I guess, actually, as Kurt highlighted it, we've been doing and busy with AI for quite a while. I guess, indeed, the last 2 years, our internal were probably a good thing for us as well, right? In terms of competition, it actually forced Google to stay on there too and come up with great solutions, great models, and we keep on innovating. I think this is just the beginning of an AI era.
So if we were speaking in 2 years' time, do you anticipate Google to be the leader?
Isn't Google the leader already today?
I don't know. You tell me. No, thank you very much indeed. Thank you, so that's fantastic. Thank you. Round of applause for Google. Thank you.